arrest me for something nonsense. Put you on the flight on your own. Little did they know you wouldn't be able to get in here without me. Without me calling the Queen in advance and being like, listen,
let her in this time. I know last time you guys like deported her, but you know, this time's different.
Listen, Liz. Listen, Lizzie. Elizabeth. Anyway, are we rolling, Jamie? Yeah. Excellent. I might actually keep these on because it's quite nice to like, you know, studio like goggles.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going to have to put that mic in front of your face.
You know what? Okay.
All right. Jesus.
Look, just one thing that I wanted to tell you.
Mic. Put it
where do you want me to put it?
That's better. Okay. Carry on. What were you saying?
Amy said this weekend when I spoke to her that you tell everybody to fix their mics, but yours is always in the wrong place.
Amy, come on.
So, yeah.
Fucking hell, would you believe it? She sold me out like that. Jesus, I'm the mic etiquette guy.
Well, you're the only one that gets it wrong.
Talking of mic etiquette, right? You can't let go of your mic when you're doing post-fight interviews. Those motherfuckers never shut up. They just keep going. If that mic leaves your hand, you're like, honestly... I've had all kinds of fighters pulling on that. I've had heavyweights trying to pry it out my fingers, and I'm like,
yeah, but I feel like really weird.
You can only thank 15 people.
I was kind of like holding it, but then like they're all like big. Like majority of the card
and sweaty as well.
Yeah, majority of the card was like heavyweights, and then like they were just kind of pulling that tuck thing, and I was like, all right, keep it then.
Oh. I was just about to nudge yours, just like that. There we go. That's better. That's better. Okay. I have sponsor reads to do. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Outlawed Picks Podcast. Did I say that? Have I said that yet? Welcome. I haven't, Jamie. No, I'm glad you're keeping track.
2 minutes in.
At least we won't have to censor you this week.
We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
We're only
That's true. That's true.
In.
We'll see. Okay, welcome today. We are covering UFC 271. We're trying something slightly different this time, so bear with us. I have my iPad and I'm controlling the screen this time. I have a couple of bits to show you. Plus, we have the tail of the tape coming up. Jamie's been very organised this week. Anyway, NordVPN is one of our two sponsors this week. Go to nordvpn.com/outlawed. And I'm looking at Jamie to make sure this is right. And it's 70% off. Yes? 2 years and a month for $89. nordvpn.com/outlawed. Go and get on it. You always need a VPN because you might need to watch something that's been geo-blocked, which has been geo-blocked. So,
like a breakdown.
Oh, maybe.
With your face on it.
With my face on it. And our other sponsor are our good friends at Xbrain for all your Onnit and Xbrain supplements. This is one of my favorites while I'm researching Total Brain Optimizer. I secretly feed it to the Raptors to make sure that they're working a 30% extra. It works fantastically. We don't tell them. Okay. Shall we go? Oh, no, hang on a minute. Xbrain.co.uk and use the code OUTLAW, 10% off everything. Go and get it. All the good supplements. In fact, I might have to kick you out the way on this stool in a bit because my legs might start cramping.
Yeah, but like mine don't reach.
Oh, we have to get you some foam boxes. Oh, no. I'm not stealing it right now. You keep it right now. It's okay. I might just need to occupy the space a little bit. I might cramp. I keep getting fucking really bad cramps. I had a mad cramp in the gym today, and I shouted. I was like, "Go and get electrolytes because I can't move. If I move, I'm gonna cramp." And I felt like I was gonna like curl up into a little ball and not be able to move, and you're gonna have to call an ambulance or something to come and put.
Yeah, but I don't think that's justifiable if you have Xbrain as a sponsor and you have like 8,000 things.
Well,
for like hydration,
fortunately,
and then like you don't.
They're gonna think this is scripted. How is this scripted? So fortunately, while I was in this state, laying on the mat in the gym, trying not to cramp, focusing really, really hard on my abs not going, which is what they were wanting to do. Ab cramp. Have you ever had it, Jamie? It's the worst, fucking horrible thing. It's the first time I've had it. So I shouted to Veronica, quickly, 200 milliliters of water in a bottle, get a Hydrotech, rip the top off, drop it in, 1 ice cube, shake it up, good to go. Bang. And 10 minutes later...
You're so... Wait, first of all, you pointed at the water bottle.
First of all, I actually got a scoop of this pre-workout after I just finished my workout.
So he was like, there's the water and get me some Hydrotech.
I was trying to help you out there.
I don't know, he pointed at that, so I just added that.
See, I was trying to be nice there, Jamie. I had to redo it.
Yeah,
yeah.
Tell him
Okay, should we talk about some fights?
Yeah, let's
talk about some fights. Jeez. Oh, you're not coming again. Fuck. Okay. UFC 271. Let us start with... Oh, do you want me to record that? Yeah, should we try it? Should we do that? Okay. Well done, Jamie. See, I told you we were trying something different today. Okay. Let's start with the first fight. Jeremiah Wells against... his name on Tapology is Mike Mathetha. Mathetha?
I'm not even going to try.
But everyone calls him Blood Diamond.
Because that's a really cool nickname.
And he has a fucking great haircut.
Yeah.
Might I add. Although, unfortunately, I will, saving grace is. So, unfortunately, we don't have a picture of him. This here, which is a silhouette that the UFC use all the time.
It looks like Bisping.
He's Bisping.
Oh, it is.
Check you out. He's Michael Bisping.
It's just because the head looks weird.
Right? Oh, no, yeah, look there. Look. You can tell.
You can tell it's weird.
Causing trouble straight away. Look at you. Look at you. Yes, that's Michael Bisping. And his opponent over here, Jeremiah Wells. So, unfortunately, we don't have a photo of Mike, Blood Diamond, but we do have a little video, which is one of our newer facets to the show. First of all, Jeremiah Wells, 9-2-1, compared to Mike, who is 3-0. Although he has a wealth of kickboxing experience. Did you find any of his kickboxing matches?
Yeah, over 100 kickboxing matches. Sick kicks.
Did you find over 100? Okay.
No, I didn't find.
No, I mean, did you find a record that said that? Because the closest one I could get was on the Glory
website. Yeah, but I saw like some articles and some other stuff that did say it was over 100.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. The way he moves, he's so slick.
His kicks are the slickest thing.
Well, talking about that, that's the first clip that I've got to show you.
All right, let's see.
Okay.
I haven't seen these clips before. I don't know what you made.
Oh, you haven't? You must have seen this one. First of all, look at his fucking haircut. That's a haircut. Red mohawk.
Yeah, I think you're biased a little bit.
Anyway, so check it. This guy comes out, and I love his enthusiasm. Round one, there it is. This guy comes out, throws all kinds of heat at him immediately. Straight away. Nice combination with the low kick on the end. Then he goes a bit wild with these next ones and bang. Next thing he's unconscious. And he's sitting on the ropes, sitting against the ropes, not really exactly sure what's happened. Lovely. Look at that. Look at that. He's swinging wild. And bam. Right in the face. Lovely.
That's sick.
That's so cool, right? There are a few really, really nice clips of him. There's a couple of highlights of him fighting this Chinese fighter, and he's just... The two of them look basically like two pinballs. They're just bouncing back and forward at one another. He is out. And then this was slick as well. This was more combinations. This was a decision win. But he just chopped this guy's legs up. Just every opportunity he got, kept attacking the base, kept stinging him in the face. But then as he got a bit more comfortable, he started to add a few more things in as well. Kept going back to the legs. Even though the guy's blocking, you could see it starting to affect him. Being real sheepish on that lead leg. Every time he steps forward to punch. See, this is something people don't do enough, I think. When their opponent steps forward to punch, take the lead leg away. Like, look what it does to the punch. It just dismantles it immediately. Beautiful.
You can tell, like, the kicks are hurting, because whenever you get kicked in the leg and your body goes forward, that's like... Ugh.
Yeah. Did you see that? Check that out. He comes flying in with this. Hook to the body, hook over the top, and then knee. It's like a knee kick. Wicked. I am excited for this guy. So he's making his UFC debut. Of course, he's only 3-0, but he's one of Izzy's training partners.
Yep.
And there are a couple of guys on the card that are Izzy's training partners. There's another one, Carlos Ulberg, who I've got a couple of clips of as well. But of course, all of these guys are super slick strikers. But he also has a rear naked choke on his record as well.
Yeah. Well, when I saw his fight on the ground, he had pendulumed like to the back. Mm-hmm. He had double unders, and then he brought the guy over by like bringing him. Oh, did you pull a Veronica?
I did.
Whatever. He like grabbed the guy, and then he like went back with his weight and brought the guy on top of him, which. Yeah. I thought was pretty slick. Like it showed good grappling and it showed good awareness that he didn't go to like a over-under, which then usually people get thrown off the top. He went for double underhooks.
Yeah.
And that gives you a better control of the body, especially if you don't have hooks in. And then that that led to him giving up hooks. But obviously it wasn't like a great guy on the ground, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly going to be striking orientated, and I think he's going to want to prove striking as well, given the fact that he's representing City Kickboxing.
Yeah.
I mean, the name is kind of in the, you know, the clue is kind of in the name. Although, I've always thought this, American Kickboxing Academy, AKA, like, name the famous fighters that come out of there. Like, the ones that come to my mind, Daniel Cormier, Cain Velasquez, John Fitch, Josh Koscheck, Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Obviously.
Where are the kickboxers?
Yeah, that's
Where are all the
true.
kickboxers?
It's like the opposite.
Right? Or is it a trick? So whenever they're taking fights and they're coming up against, he's like, well, he's from American Kickboxing Academy, so I'm just going to take him down and sub him. I was taking him down and beat him up. And then it turns out it's like, he probably even walk out with the whole Muay Thai Moncon and everything, and then fucking shoot straight in for a double leg.
Yeah, but I think the cat's out of
Slide
the
your
bag
anklets
now.
up to your knees. Like, immediately you could fucking trick them. I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
It'll only work for so long. I mean, but okay, Jeremiah is a like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
He is.
You know?
He's a bit kind of, I mean, he's very heavily muscled.
Yeah.
He's very tense. He's very explosive. And I kind of feel like that's a bit easy to read for someone that's had 100 kickboxing matches, right? I mean, I found a good knockout of his. I haven't got clips for all of these fights. There's only a couple of them. Yeah. But I just so happen to have one of Jeremiah as well. This is one of his fights before he came to the UFC. And this shows how powerful and how fast he is, but also kind of a bit how wild and reckless he is. Now, something he does is this quite a lot. He's orthodox almost all the time. He is listed as a switch stance fighter, but he tends to only seems to switch when he wants to throw this hop side kick. Pow! Love it. And then he goes back to orthodox for the rest of his game. But he is quick off the mark. Look at that left hook in the flurry. And his opponent's got good head movement. He does a good job of staying out of the way of that, even though he cracked him with the good left hook. But then a second later, he catches him with this right hand on the chin. Again, just super quick off the mark. Bang. That was a slick right hand. Look at that. Ping. Yeah. I think he's a real threat, especially in 4-ounce gloves. You know, someone flying at you like that. Like, the one thing, if you're a kickboxer, you're used to fighting other guys that are kickboxers. Guys that are not going to run at you, sprint at you doing this kind of wild stuff.
And also you're used to like blocking and like a lot better. You see, especially in glory matches, a lot of the guys block and nothing really gets through, and they just like stand and trade back with their own combinations.
Yeah, like think about when Vakitov fought Pereira.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And Pereira would have probably lit him up if they were wearing 4-ounce gloves. But because he had enough padding, he was able to just kind of hunker down behind him and take the majority of the shots on his gloves. I don't know. I wonder whether Mike will have. I mean, 3 fights is not a lot to be making your UFC debut.
No.
And I know that Jeremiah Wells has not got a massive amount of experience, but he has been in the UFC. He got that wicked stoppage over Wally Alves. I don't know. What do you reckon?
I like that fight because he kind of drifted to the left and drifted to the right and then like exploded into it. It to me, it didn't look like that part was just a knockout. It looked like he did it on purpose. Yeah. Just because I saw a little bit of a facial expression like, I'm just going to go to the left. I'm just going to go to the right. Bam. What's up?
What's up?
Yeah, that's like...
you see, that's the risk though, isn't it, right? Like, if you imagine if...
A what's up moment?
Well, exactly. if Blood Diamond's sitting on the outside and, chopping into the legs, and he all of a sudden Jeremiah Wells is, quick off the mark and catches him with one of those big power shots, even if it sets up for a level change and he puts him on his back, because I would be wanting to test his ground game.
Yeah, absolutely.
With, 100, what was his record in kickboxing? Did you find out?
No,
it just said over 100.
Yeah, it just said over 100.
Because I've got 51 and 14. Even if that is his actual kickboxing record, that's a massive amount of fights. And then only 3 MMA fights.
Yeah.
And of course he's training with other MMA fighters, Dan Hooker and the like, who will be able to push him and, you know, teach him things. But you still gotta find your feet in MMA.
Yeah, but I just feel like when these guys are training with, let's say, a top guy, right? Like you have a gym and you have somebody that has the top level of the UFC or of whatever. Usually when the guys are a little bit lower than that guy, because, you know, there's only like one alpha dude, I guess, their weaknesses are usually like a lot bigger. So probably a lot worse grappling than anybody in the team, and a lot worse of like, so it's the same gaps, but bigger gaps.
Right.
And they're like not as narrowed down and like, I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I think the fact that he has got a massive kickboxing record speaks for itself. And I think Jeremiah Wells will most likely want to try and close the distance because, I mean, doesn't he give up height and reach?
Yeah.
Let me just pull up UFC stats. Where is it?
It's a 5 centimeter.
He's actually
height.
listed as Blood Diamond on UFC stats.
Oh, that's sick.
Don't even use his name.
So 189 a reach and 180 for height.
Yeah, so he's got a 2-inch height advantage, but Jeremiah Wells is the one with the reach advantage.
Yeah, but that's because of his back.
Exactly, that's what we were talking about the other day. Like the width of his shoulders is a part of that. Yeah.
So who are you going with?
Oh, I'm gonna go Blood Diamond. Fuck it. I'm gonna take the newcomer. I'm going against my better instincts though, because I should be going for the guy that's been in the UFC and that's got more of a well-rounded MMA set. But the thing is, if someone's coming in off the back of Adesanya's contract and he's a young fighter that's crossed over, they're trying to grab him before anybody else does and starts capitalizing on the fact that he's maybe the next superstar. So they're going to craft these opponents very, very well. So I think the UFC might see something in Jeremiah Wells that is a vulnerability that they think he's going to work out well for a 3-0 fighter.
I think one spectacular thing that he could do is because his like knockout kicks, they're so well disguised at a distance. Well, the first thing that you showed, he doesn't load them, doesn't do anything, and you don't need to. And if, for example, that's against somebody with kickboxing that tends to have a tighter guard, tends to like everything be more compact and closed. And in MMA, you're just kind of like, oh, these are tiny and there's just gaps everywhere. So I can see him doing that.
And being wild and unpredictable is a big benefit. So who are you picking?
Ooh.
Oh, this is a serious consideration. I thought you'd already thought about this. I thought you'd made your mind up on some of these.
I told you last time that I just wait to hear what you say.
Oh, okay.
See.
So you wait to see who I pick.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going against my logic.
Okay, I'm going with logic.
Newcomer. You're going logic, are you?
Yeah.
You're going Jeremiah Wells.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair shout. It's what my sensible self would choose.
Yeah.
If Mike didn't have such a cool haircut. Anyway, moving on.
See. Okay.
Moving on. Douglas Silva de Andrade, one of the scariest looking, most angular, shredded individuals on the planet. His calves, look at that motherfucker. Look at that. That's like 3% body fat.
That's like less.
Right? No, that's like he would make Bruce Lee look like he had a bad food week. Look how shredded he is. Look how scary he is. Fuck, look at those cheekbones. Holy shit. Okay, and he's fighting this fella, Sergey Morozov, who is equally scary.
Yeah.
And dangerous. Have you seen that single punch knockout shot that he got in M1? He was standing over the guy, and he just threw his legs to one side and just pinged him one time on the chin, and the guy just... Ow. Ow.
You got some clips for this?
No, I've got no clips for this one. I have for the next one. I was going to put some clips, but you can go and have a look for yourself. He is a lot of fun. Douglas Silva de Andrade is a bit scary. He's a bit scary.
Knockout TKO finishes. 20 out of the 27 wins.
Yeah.
And like one
It's
submission.
because he's so like... He's a bit like Jeremiah Wells. He's always kind of primed. Do you know what I mean? Which must get exhausting. And the one thing I will say about Sergey is he's a hell of a wrestler. Like one of the only losses on his record is Movsar Evloev, who is an equally monstrous wrestler.
Yeah.
And that would be the only person that could put that kind of wrestling clinic on him, because everybody else I saw him fight, he was able to manhandle them with his takedowns. I think he's going to be able to take Silva down and probably wear him out. I think his grappling and his ground game is going to be good enough to drown Andrade.
Yeah, he has really good, like, really smart controls in the ground. Like, they're...
Jeez, look at that.
Very efficient, and they don't... Yeah, that's
knockouts.
crazy. That's crazy.
Mm.
But his grappling is really efficient, and during his transition, he's like a step ahead, and he just feeds into the next thing that makes it draining for you to get up. Just horrible. And he's good at countering opponents off the central line when they come in with the kicks, right? But also was caught by what's his name? Umar Nurmagomedov. Yeah, he was caught by him with a switch kick.
What a horrible debut, though.
Yeah.
Like, what a rough debut. That also does show us the level of Umar Nurmagomedov. Because, that was a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
But, it was kind of like when Makhachev fought, why am I forgetting his name? Arman Tsarukyan. Hell of a wrestling match. And Tsarukyan was like 8% less effective with his wrestling. And it made the world of difference in the fight. I would imagine that was the same thing with him and Movsar Evloev, and I think it might be the same thing here as well. I think he might be just a bit better at being able to keep a constant pace on him. And I don't know. He's got to slow down. I know he's got a couple of decision wins on his record, but if he's not controlling the pace of the fight, like Khalid Taha is not an easy person to dominate like he did. I'm going with Sergey. Who are you thinking? Or you not made your pick? You're waiting for me to make my pick so you can.
No, this one I was pretty sure. Like, just because the biggest, I think one of the things that he can get caught, which Nurmagomedov caught him with, is that switch lead kick, which he throws really well and he throws really hard. But usually, what tends to happen is that he counters them on, like, when they're coming in, and Douglas just struggles when the person's a lot better than them, like skill wise. When they mix up the skills, they mix up the striking, the rhythms, the distance. When that starts getting into play, it's almost like a different level that he doesn't.
Because he's so tense.
Yeah,
he can't relax and just kind of ebb and flow with the fight. Like, you look at who he's fought though. It's an amazing list of fighters. He's been in the UFC a little while, since 2014. Made his debut against Tukugov. Then he beat Cody Gibson, and that spinning back fist against Briones. Did you watch that? Holy shit, that was beautiful. He was backed up against the fence and Briones was crashing forward. Hit him with an elbow and then a spinning back fist. Knocked him out. It was class. And that was the third round. He is dangerous right into the later rounds. He lost to Rob Font. He's got a unanimous decision win over Marlon Vera. He lost to Peter Yan. Then he's got a unanimous decision win over Henan Barao, right?
Yeah.
Lost to Lerone Murphy, which makes Lerone Murphy look incredibly good, who's 9-0-1 compared. Experience is not everything. That counter left hook against Perello was really nice, but I think Morozov's going to drown him.
Yeah, I think
he's going to drown him.
Yeah, I love his transitions when he's on the ground or when he's wrestling. Just the control points and just the pathways that he makes for himself that makes everything easier.
Yeah, he does that. He does that front table. What is it? Front table to inside reap to outside trip. That little sequence up against the fence over and over again, then onto the back. Yeah, I think he's just gonna exhaust Andrade. I wouldn't even be surprised if he chokes him out. Yeah. Has Andrade been submitted before? Oh, yeah, guillotine.
Look at that. Definitely cuts a lot of weight.
Yeah, definitely cuts a lot of weight.
That's like cut weight till you like basically die.
Yeah. You must live on fucking cardboard to look like that. What's he eating? Tissue paper? Jesus. Okay. Next fight. So we're both picking Sergey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. He's a bit of a lunatic. Okay. Next one. This is a banger. So Jacob Malkoun against AJ Dobson. Now, Malkoun was kind of a bit of a similar situation with Mike, Blood Diamond. Malkoun is a training partner of Rob Whittaker and got his UFC debut in Fight Island being, I think he was 4-0, and he got put in there against Phil Hawes. And that could have gone one or two ways it could have looked like his last fight against Al-Hassan, where he just drowned him with grappling and takedowns. I think he could have, if he'd have been able to avoid getting knocked out in 18 seconds, he might have been able to start wearing on Phil Hawes and test his gas tank. But he just got wrecked really, really quickly. Then he came in against Al-Hassan, who's another massive puncher, and he just grappled him and drowned him. And obviously, I think that's the best thing for him to do against Dobson. Dobson's a very, very explosive individual. Everything he throws, he's got a big power to it. He's only got 6 fights on his record, 6'1", 77-inch reach.
And all wins in the first round.
Yeah.
And if you go back to his amateur record, his only loss is in second round by armbar.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so... Here
we go.
Especially based on Jacob's last fight, that he's able to... Because I feel like the UFC kind of does this. If you have a problem, they just, like in an exam. They
test it.
Yeah, they just like re-put it in a different... Like if you're doing Duolingo, you get like a word wrong.
Yeah.
You just re-put it into your exams. And that's kind of what this feels like to me. It's just like, okay, you lost to a really big power puncher. I'm just going to re-put it.
Give you another power puncher.
And another one. And another one,
It's like you've got to learn this lesson.
Yeah.
Then you go on to the taller guy. You've got to deal with someone with a longer reach. Then you've got to fix that problem. Then you've got to deal with someone that dives for your ankles and tries to steal your shoes for the whole of the first round, like Ryan. I exactly hear what you're saying. Yeah. This is a big test for AJ Dobson. I think they're expecting big things from him. Rinnick, he choked in the first round on the Contender Series. As you said, he's coming in with, he's on a 5-fight win streak right now, all first round finishes aside from one, which was a unanimous decision, which is good because it shows he can fight the distance as well. Height and reach advantage, 6'1" compared to 5'9", and at 76-inch reach, so he's got a 3-inch reach advantage. I have got a little clip on this one though. Not of Jacob, of AJ, because I saw this wicked knockout. Have you watched this fight? So this was against Kalen Hill, and it immediately catches him with a big right hand. They come out, they touch gloves, and then they immediately stay in boxing range. And as Hill postures like he's going to kick inside leg, he just pings him right in the side of the head with that right hand and drops him immediately. And he isn't able to get the finish here. Hill, to his credit, was able to recover and actually gives him a little giggle and calls him on. But then after this, Kalen is just like deadly serious. Like, look at his face. He is ferocious. Everything he throws has got power on it. Big power kick there takes him off his feet. But it's the finishing sequence which is just brutal. Like, watch this. So he's gonna circle him back onto the fence, start cutting him off. There we go. And then he's just gonna sprint at him with a 3-punch combination. He's going to catch him with a left hook, which is puts him down. Bang, there. And then he's a couple of extra ones. It reminds me of that old Tank Abbott knockout where he drops his man against the fence and he's just kind of folded up in an awkward position. Wicked, wicked powerful. I think this is going to be a really interesting fight because I think Malkoun's going to try and do what he did in his last fight against Al-Hassan.
Yeah, well, that would be the smart thing to do because you don't want to mess around with that. Especially, sorry, I can't lean or do anything.
You can't. You just have to move the mic with you.
Although
otherwise, Amy will tell you off.
She only says you're the one that does it bad.
Oh, well, okay.
So,
well, you don't want to start shit-talking you as well. So who are you thinking?
I think Jacob. Just because... there's a lot of attacks from him, the chain of neck attacks in the grappling, good single leg, really good effortless single leg that doesn't cause him a lot of energy. And the way AJ stands, I feel like leaves him vulnerable for that. So that can just be the beginning of the end, and especially if he's not used to sort of finishing people. If it's gone past the first round, he might get frustrated or maybe not. Maybe we will see third round finish, but from what we've seen so far, I think I'm going with Jacob.
You think Malkoun's going to do it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I think AJ Dobson's going to stop him in the first round.
That makes it more exciting for me when you go the opposite.
Is that right?
Yeah, because then when we watch it,
you like to be right. You like to look over at me from the sofa and go,
yeah, exactly.
What do you know? What do you know?
Not that, but
no.
Yeah, I win.
Okay, so we're going opposite ways on that one.
Yeah, opposite ways.
Okay, this next one again is a banger, and I know that Carlos, well, they're both coming off losses. Fabio Cherant's had 2 losses, one Von Flu and then one wreckage from William Knight, who's later on the card. I would hope that they'd not put him in the same warm-up area because that would give Fabio flashbacks. Or at least put him on the other side of the apex where he can't hear William Knight hitting pads. Like the kickboxing movie where he's kicking the wall. Anyway, Carlos Ulberg is a slick striker.
Yes.
Again, 3-1 in MMA. Not got the most experience. He trains at City Kickboxing. He's another one of the slick City Kickboxing strikers. Very, very talented. This could be a good opportunity for Cherant to get a win on his record, because what we saw in Ulberg's last fight is that he got tired because he thought he was going to get the finish. Mm-hmm. So if you're Cherant and you've had 2 first-round finishes so far, the best thing to do is not open up in the first round, right?
Yeah.
Move, be defensive. Don't just give him free shots, but don't open yourself up too much to get caught and hurt. Because Ulberg might just come in and unload. He might just come in and wear himself out trying to get the finish. And then Fabio Cherant can start taking over in the second. I think Ulberg's probably going to put a clinic on him, though, if I'm honest. But what do you think, my love?
Well, the thing is, he got gassed out by punching Kennedy. I don't know how to say his last name.
Nzechukwu.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and that dude can just take it.
Yeah, but was he actually hurt, though?
He's just like...
Was Nzechukwu actually hurt? Because there were a couple of moments, like in that first round, that like as I was watching, I was like, oh, he's got him, he's going to do him. And then Nzechukwu just kind of, he looks like he's hurt. And then as soon as Ulberg has thrown a 15 or 20 punch combination and he's starting to slow down, he backs up. Then Nzechukwu just goes... Okay, and just starts marching forward, marching him down. I don't think Cherant's going to do that to him. I think he's going to give him the space to strike and counter with him. And the other thing as well is that Ulberg is huge and he's in really good shape. Like,
did you see that? I just cut you off because before I forget. Okay, so he was in a reality TV show. It's kind of like The Bachelor. But it's not.
Oh, I see where your research was. You've watched a fucking season of some New Zealand Bachelor show.
No, I didn't watch it. Okay, I Googled it just to try it.
Of course you did.
Just for like the show, I wanted to give information.
You only got 2 seasons into it, and then it was just it's too much for you. No. He didn't look good in the wedding dress. You decided it was time to pull the plug.
But what I'm saying is, like, in that, it's kind of like a Ninja Warrior type of thing, but in an island where you do...
Where you're dodging bitches.
No, it's not about the bitches. It's about doing, like island type of, I don't know, like Ninja Warrior tasks.
Oh, okay.
But then you fight for these 2 comedian ladies, which aren't very attractive. I'm sorry. So it's not about
they're
fighting.
Probably not listening.
It's not about
they're probably not in the audience.
The ladies. It's more about like the bro thing.
Right,
like who's the biggest bro of them. And he used to be like a rugby player, so like
and a model.
Yeah, overall very athletic is what I'm trying to say.
And he does. Have you noticed that he pulls a bow and arrow and then blows a kiss down the camera lens?
It's probably from that show.
Yeah, probably. I was. For a minute, I thought he was directing it at me. That's how intimate it was. For a moment, I was like,
"Did you blush?"
I wonder if he's emailed me and I've missed it. I wonder if he has my number. Could he get my number? Anyway, what do you think is going to happen in this one?
Okay,
6'4" compared to 6'1", so he's got a 3-inch height and a 3-inch reach advantage. I'm gonna show you a video clip of him knocking out a short dude in a minute, just to make it even more fun. Do you want to watch that now?
Yes,
What's
sure.
this? What's this? Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. So we've got James Lovely. What are you laughing at?
Look at those eyebrows.
Yeah. I know they are perfect. They have definitely been tampered with. They have definitely been tampered with.
I just feel like I'm going to do the rest of the podcast like this.
They have definitely been tampered with. They're perfect, aren't they? Look at them. Beautiful.
He's like
done such a
the female
job.
Version of The Rock.
He's not quite as big as The Rock. It's more like
that's why he's the feminine version. Okay, just
yeah.
All right.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, we can move
Okay,
on.
good. Height and reach advantage and eyebrow advantage, as Veronica's already pointed out to you. Fucking hell. Critiquing the man's facial structure.
I just don't like when
Look at
people
this. Look
like
at this.
that.
Does that guy not look like... So here we go. MMA love children. I am literally making this up on the spot.
Okay, go ahead.
MMA love children. He is the MMA love child of Mark Hunt and Conor McGregor.
Wait,
Mark Hunt and Conor McGregor.
Why Conor McGregor?
Do you not see it in the eyes? It's the eyes, the brow bone, and yeah, I think so.
I thought you were gonna say
It's the eyebrows. It's the shape of the eyebrows.
Tuivasa and like Mark Hunt together.
Yeah, but
Or
no,
with,
it's got a bit of Conor McGregor in there. I don't know whether it's his swagger. Anyway, watch this.
All right, show it.
Watch this. Bang. Oh, honestly, it is fucking so slick. It's such a lovely movement. You don't catch it on this camera, but the replay gets it. Steps back to orthodox. Left hook pivot. Super
Slick.
nice. Very, very nice. One thing we learned about city kickboxing is that if you attack them in a straight line, you've got to expect them to slip and counter you with hooks. Look at that. Slip. Pivot left hook. That's beautiful. Bang. There it is.
Yeah.
It's very similar to what Floyd Mayweather catches Ricky Hatton with. Very, very slick. Love it. But that's not the finish. Oh, hang on. We've got another replay. The finish is very cool as well. Here we go. Watch this. Kick to the face. Rear front kick, which is something that we've seen a few times in his UFC fights. Back leg, front kick, big left hook. Good striking. Really good striking. Even though he lost to Nzechukwu, his striking still looked really good in that.
Yeah,
you know
he just
what I mean?
looked like he gassed.
He just looked
himself.
like he just got overexcited and he just threw too much.
You got to think about the difference
Boom.
between when you're
look
used
at
to
that.
3 rounds. 3-minute rounds, and then you go on to 5. That's a huge difference.
Oh, right in the mush. Look at that shit. That is unfortunate, isn't it? That's your new wallpaper for your phone there. Oh, look at that. That's so bad it's almost disrespectful. That's how good that kick was. And then a whack just to finish it off. Brilliant. Love it. What a great knockout that was. I am excited for these city kickboxing fighters on this card.
Yeah.
I think they've probably been matched favourably as well. Like, you've got to think, Cherant's on a 2-fight losing streak and he's been stopped twice in the first round. They did not want Ulberg to lose to Nzechukwu. They want this guy on a win streak. They want him undefeated. He's picked up his first loss. I think it might be good for him. You know, I think sometimes we have to learn that, you know, that there are other facets to the game that we need to consider. And you know, being exhausted and not having the ability to hurt somebody. I mean, he's almost always fighting people smaller than him.
Yeah.
Like, that guy was like 5'10". Do you know what I mean? Like, when he comes up against Nzechukwu and looks at the size of him, it's like, oh, geez, it's going to be a handful.
I wouldn't know what it's like to be tall, so I can't make any points.
Well, see, I'm kind of in the middle because sometimes I'm taller. Like, that's why I like to hang around with you, because then it makes me feel real tall.
Oh, thanks. This is the only reason he hangs around me. Thanks. All right.
But like, I've fought guys that are like 6'4", 6'5", and it's just like they're all fucking elbows and knees. It's like kicking a bag of wrenches.
Like,
usually.
you don't want to like hit him almost because
they're bony.
it hurts.
Yeah.
It's
It's like that Dennis
what are you
Bondar who we were
doing?
talking about yesterday when we did the review. Yeah. Dennis Bondar, the guy that got his elbow dislocated in the first fight at the prelims.
yeah.
He was super bony as well. It would have hurt hitting him. Anyway, shall we move on? Who are you picking?
Eyebrow dude. Carlos.
Ulberg.
Yeah, that one.
Carlos Eyebrowberg.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel like, especially with Fabio getting caught by William Knight, I know it's not the same, but he tends to get caught.
That was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's always after he hurts somebody, then he rushes in and he like kind of forgets that he's in a fight and that the other person can do something.
Mm-hmm.
So even if he does hurt Carlos can still do like hook him or
That check hook that he
yeah,
got, which
or
was
even
kinda,
like front kick him
Yeah,
while he's going
for sure.
forward.
Yeah.
Even though like his coach said he's the hardest kicker in the gym. So that has to mean
Ulberg.
for something. Yes.
Yeah. He does look like he kicks like a fucking horse. If he starts chopping that lead leg of Cherant down, which is one of my favourite things in all of combat sports, is to attack the lead leg. Like I think he'll be able to set him up for pretty much what he likes. I don't think Cherant's got the striking pedigree to understand what Ulberg's doing. I think the smart thing for him to do would be to grapple with him, but I don't see it.
Yeah, he probably has great takedown defense though, coming from City Kickboxing.
Yeah, you would think so. You would think
maybe
so.
not
you
like
hope so.
Ideal grappling.
But then still, I mean, 4 fights into his career, like how much do you develop that? Like that's something that you have to develop over time, I think. And if he's been kickboxing for a long period of time, how much takedown defense has he been doing during that? I mean, if you actually look at his Tapology record, he's been kickboxing like recently. Where are we? Yeah, like his last kickboxing match was 2019. So he had a couple of MMA fights, then he had 3 kickboxing matches, then he came back to MMA. I don't know. I don't know how much time he's investing in it, is my question. I still think he's going to win, though. I think Ulberg's going to do it. Because he's got the sharpest eyebrows in the game. Okay, shall we move on? Is that in your notes? Did you write that down?
No, I didn't realize till that picture came up.
You didn't realize?
Anyway.
That was the first thing you noticed. And you were like, Bachelor New Zealand?
No.
What's this fucking thing he's doing on the beach?
I just saw it on Wikipedia.
Yeah, of course you did.
Okay, because I was trying to find
I
the
only
kickboxing.
watched 2 seasons. It's been a busy day. I've not had a chance to sit down and watch.
I'm
gonna
get like murdered in the comments for this because of you.
I bookmarked it for later. I'm gonna do 3, 4, and 5 seasons later.
Okay, look at this. Can I show this to the camera? Oh no, what happened?
Which show?
Just that's like an unfortunate picture.
Of who?
Of Alexander Hernandez.
Alex, why is it? He looks like the Hulk that someone sprayed pink.
No, he looks
Look how
like,
fucking shredded he is.
like he's like holding it.
Oh, you just bring the level of the podcast down.
Okay, sorry.
You're just talking filth constantly. Can we talk about his skills? Can you stop obsessing with body parts here? Talking about fucking
It's not a body part.
gastric movements of Hernandez and the eyebrows of fucking this guy.
So let's talk about fights then.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, next
he has
fight
knockout win over
Next fight.
Benio Dariush.
Alexander Hernandez
Yes.
against Renato Moicano. Okay, Moicano with the height advantage, but the reach is the same. Slightly more experienced by 3 fights, but of course he spent a lot of time down at featherweight. Mm-hmm. Kind of 50-50 since he's moved up to lightweight, but then again, Alexander Hernandez is kind of like that as well. He got a massive opportunity because he was on a win streak, and like you said, he beat Dariush and he beat Aubin Mercier, and then he got that Donald Cerrone fight.
Yeah.
And he talked a whole load of shit going into that.
Yeah.
And he almost got inside Cowboy's head, but then Cowboy came through on that night, which was wonderful. But then Trinaldo's a good win, but then he lost to Dober. But then the Chris Gruetzemacher stoppage was beautiful, very, very similar to the Mike Breeden one. But then he did lose by decision to Moises, who's an absolute killer as well. So I don't know. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Moicano. I think he's a real skilled and talented fighter, but I do think he lost some of his competitiveness in this weight class because it's so deep. I think this is a much more even fight than it would be had Moicano been the person that he was at featherweight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Now he's just kind of like, it seems like he's fighting for a paycheck instead of fighting to like win the belt type of thing.
I don't know. No, I don't.
Is that what you think?
I don't think that. I don't think that. I think he is. I think he's in it because he wants to win. I mean, he actually said after his. I think it was after his last fight. He was sitting down at the side of the cage, and the camera came over to him, kind of in the commercial break for ESPN or whatever. And he was saying to the camera, he was like, because he's got family first written across his chest, or sacred family, and he was going, I do this for my family. I do this because I want to buy them all things. And, he's like, so yeah, he is doing it for the money for sure. But I think what I meant to say is he was more competitive at featherweight because the featherweight division isn't as deep as the lightweight division. Like, there are a lot of good guys in the featherweight division, but it starts to run out after the top 15.
Yeah.
You could go into the top 30 in lightweight and find someone that's a fucking nightmare to fight.
Yeah.
Like Hernandez is a good example of that because he's not he's not on most people's radar as far as a threat at 155. Kind of reminds me a bit of Jake Matthews. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then Jake Matthews found his feet moving up a weight class into welterweight. I don't know. I think this is a really 50-50 fight, and I feel like if you'd have asked me this 2 years ago, I'd have said Moicano is no doubt going to beat him. Most likely going to stop him.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not sure now. I think Hernandez has always got a good 50-50 chance because he's got such quick hands. Quick off the mark, fast 1-2. He's got a 1-2 like Canelo. Like, bam, bam. Like, he doesn't place his front foot as he's snapping out his lead hand.
He's also really big for this weight class.
He is really massive. Big. I mean, he is very, very lean in that topology picture, as you said. He's, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think... who you got?
Well,
what's your pick?
Okay, so...
Go on, then.
This is what I thought about the fight. Alex, I see him use a lot of like L steps, but a lot of crossing of his feet sometimes. Although he is at like some type of range, it doesn't affect him so much. But those movements, I think they don't look like they're doing it to draw the opponent in, just as like habits. Learned MMA moves.
Yeah.
You know, and not like as a kickboxer would learn a move a little bit different with different applications to it. And it's more like that move looks good and I look like I can strike really good, so I'm going to do that move.
Yeah. It's a bit of a boxing habit, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just, you could almost time it because he has a lot of moves that he does over and over again that seem to be kind of like reset habits. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have that, right? Some people, when they reset, they like go like this, or some people.
Yeah.
I don't remember what fighter we were watching that like put his leg back all the way.
Yeah.
Do you remember who it was?
I can't remember who it was either. He would like wipe his foot.
Wipe his foot
on his other leg.
Yeah, that was strange. But like his seems to be that L to the crossing, and then you have Moicano, who has great leg kicks that just destabilize you, take you off your feet, and it makes it really hard for you to land those power shots when he does that against you. But the end, like an over the top right hand seems to be his kryptonite, though. You know, against the Korean Zombie, which is one of my favorite knockouts.
Yeah.
Ever.
The Fiziev fight was amazing. I mean,
but Fiziev doesn't have the same striking level as Alexander, you know?
No, he's better.
Is like,
yeah, for sure he is.
Like different.
For sure he is, but he is also shorter and probably not quite as... well, he's definitely not going to have the same reach, is he? 72 inches as Alexander Hernandez. I think Hernandez might find it easier to get to Moicano without trying as hard as Fiziev did. Like Fiziev had to take his feet with him. If you remember how the knockout was, he was practically chest to chest with him because he was throwing short power hooks. He's great with people backed against the fence with straight punches, and then he backs them up with shorter punches after that. Which way are you going? I'm going Moicano. I'm going Moicano. I think he might be able to take his back and sub him.
Yeah.
But I think he might get knocked down in the first round and probably lose the first round 10-8 and then catch him.
He's going to pull a Glover Teixeira?
Yeah, he is. He's going to get knocked down. He's going to get hurt. And skills are going to show through. He's going to take Hernandez's back and he's going to sub him at the start of the second round.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like how... He's 29. You'd think he'd be a lot younger.
He does look like one of Harry Potter's school friends.
Like Slithendor.
But with a grown-up's body.
Yeah.
Slithendor, is that one? Is that Slithendor?
What is it?
Slithendor? Fucking some kind of hybridized. We did it on purpose for not to infringe trademark. Isn't he on a Slithendor? He's on a Slithendor, isn't he? There you go, and then there's that giant dog as well.
Oh my God.
Although he's only got one head.
I should have said yes to doing this tomorrow. The amount of things I'm messing up on.
It won't be any difference. You know what? You just mess up on different stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. You're going
Moicano.
Moicano.
Okay.
It's a cooler name anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy looks like the Reese's mean kid, so I don't like him too much.
So, not Slithendor. What are the other two? What's
Hufflepuff?
Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
And what? Ravenclaw. So is he a Ravenpuff then? Or a Huffleclaw.
Whatever. This is the next one.
This is an MMA podcast, just in case you've only just tuned in. We do talk about fights. Okay, so we're both going Moicano then?
Yeah, Moicano.
Okay. There's a little bit of wishful thinking there, because I do think Alexander Hernandez.
Yeah, it is a little bit. But you know what? I'm going to go with the veteran.
Do it. Okay. This is a fun one. Bit striker v grappler, this, do you not think? Ronnie Lawrence against Mana Martinez. So 7-1 versus 9-2. 2-inch height advantage, 2-inch reach advantage for Mana Martinez, who is more of a striker out of the two of them. Ronnie Lawrence has got great grappling.
Great back kick as well.
Yeah. A lot of spin attacks.
Yeah, with his right leg, though. Does tend to favor the right leg for a back kick.
Yeah.
But he also times his takedowns really well under his opponent. Mm-hmm. He doesn't kind of go for them. He sort of GSPs them, kind of
Yeah. It was it was Vince, wasn't it? He just dominated him.
Yeah.
Smashed him to bits on the ground, and he was mount, half guard, just pounding away, and he couldn't do anything, bless him. He was trying to turn in every different direction, taking clean shots all the way through.
Well, Dana White spoke really highly about him.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
What do you think to Mana Martinez? He was 5 pounds over coming into his last fight, wasn't he?
Yeah.
That was kind of rough, especially because it was Guido, who's already kind of towards the end of his career anyway. And then he gets this young kid who's,
I feel
25.
The only thing that made it difficult for me to concentrate on Mana Martinez is that
he's got such... I made a note of that. I literally made a note of that.
It just looks like he's looking...
Weird rhythm.
Yeah, I just put weird hand drumming with lead hand. It's kind of like he's looking in the mirror and he's like, yeah, I look good, don't I? Yeah, hit him.
You are doing a fucking terrible job with this mic. Turn it. There we go.
But then how do I see the computer when this in my face?
You can figure it out. We need to fucking hear you. Okay. I think Ronnie Lawrence is just going to dominate him.
Yeah.
I really do. I was just I was impressed with his all-round grappling game. He wasn't in a particular rush to get there. I think Mana Martinez has got good striking, and he had decent scrambling as well. But I don't think he's at the level that Ronnie Lawrence is coming in at.
Yeah, it's just great, sort of chain movement in wrestling and in grappling. He's always giving you something to think. To think about, right? Crowds your movement, and it's just I was watching his opponent, and I kind of felt for his opponent. It's kind of oh, get off
suffocating,
of me.
Yeah.
Ugh,
it was.
You're so annoying. Leave.
Yeah, he's a bit clingy, you could say, as a grappler. Yeah. I think Ronnie Lawrence. I'm going Ronnie Lawrence.
Yeah, I am as well.
Okay, let's move on to the light heavyweights. William Knight against Maxim Grishin. Now, this will look like something out of Lord of the Rings, because William Knight is oh, hang on a minute. I'm behind on the screen.
Wait,
Sorry.
one sec.
Oh, hang on.
Would you give him a love child thing? I feel like there's a love child happening here, but I just can't figure out who.
Ronnie?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Dominic Reyes and Roger off American Dad. There you go. Okay, next one.
Okay. That works.
Now, Jamie, I don't mean to complain here. But
yeah, I'm going to complain. Why does this guy look taller than that guy?
Exactly. We need to tilt this motherfucker a bit. He is...
It's the perspective picture.
If anything, William Knight is actually taller than Max Grishin. Have you switched this? This is Max... The what? The waist. The waist?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you did? Well, it makes him look more like Paul Felder than he already does.
Right, I was going to say, he looks like Paul Felder.
He does.
Like the older, uglier brother.
Paul, well, thank you for that compliment. So, Max Grishin made his UFC debut as a heavyweight. Was it Marcin Tybura? Which is a really rough debut to have. And he's not, he has fought as a heavyweight, but he is really a light heavyweight. Although he's a big dude, 6'3", 76-inch reach. He lost to Tybura by decision, then he came down to light heavyweight and fought Gadzimurad Antigolov, stopped him. And then he had a wicked scrap against Dustin Jacoby, and he gave him problems, dropped him at the end of the first round. The problem for Grishin in this fight is going to be the low kicks of William Knight, because he's not going to be trying to fuck with the boxing in any way. He's got, a 5-inch reach advantage. He's going to look considerably smaller. He's going to look like a little block of muscle compared to Maxim Grishin.
He always kind of looks like a little block of muscle, though.
He does, but then you put him next to someone who's 6'3", and it overemphasizes it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that he's like William Knight, coming off that confidence of his last fight, that knockout over Cherant. I think he's going to just try and chop the legs of Maxim Grishin up, and then just try and bring his chin down. I won't be surprised if he beats his legs up and then tries to take him down and put him on his back and beat him up.
Yeah.
It's either that or swinging overhands.
Well, he does have a KO loss too. What's his name? Magomed Ankalaev?
Yeah.
Overhand exploded from southpaw.
But Ankalaev's
but
just
it
lethal.
was it was like different stance to what he fights. But I don't know. I feel like Maxim does a good job at like just creates a lot of movement and uprupts, changes in range.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was kind of like what I was trying to get to explain to you. Like if I'm doing this all the time and then all of a sudden I stop and you come in, then he does that and with the knees and that can kind of throw him off, especially with a height disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
It can really throw you off when the person kind of just like when you're playing what is that game? The chair with. You know the chair when you turn on the music and then you stop?
Yeah, musical chairs.
Yeah. He kind of
the
fights.
chairs and the music.
He kind of fights like musical chairs. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like the best way I can describe it.
He has an awkward rhythm. He does have an awkward rhythm. But the thing he's got to watch out for in this one, he's the one with the height and the reach advantage. So there's no secret that William Knight's going to be trying to close him down. So I think he's got to try and maintain that space between them as much as possible. Mm-hmm. Keep his lead leg safe. Give William Knight some deterrence and try and outpoint him best he can. Like, I know Max Grishin's got a lot of knockouts on his record 16 knockouts compared to 9. But then if you look how many actual fights he's had,
then
31, 9, and 2. Like, that's 42 fights compared to 13. So 9 knockouts out of 13 compared to 16 knockouts out of 42. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you start looking at William Knight thinking he's probably going to catch him at some point, and if he can beat up his legs in the process, and he's got heavy, heavy low kicks. They sounded incredibly painful when he was landing them on Cherant. I'm going to go with the little guy.
Did you pull up the video that you asked me?
No, I didn't. I didn't. No. Back.
Good. Did you hear that?
Yeah, you have a fucking microphone in front of your head, and I have earphones that are plugged into said fucking microphone. Of course I heard that. Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Can you hear me whisper?
Oh, yeah.
Weird that, isn't it? How the microphone picks up your voice and amplifies it like that. And also records it for all these lovely people to listen to you mugging me off live on the podcast.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. See, I had some alpha brain before we started. You see, that's why I'm firing on all cylinders. Okay.
It is a short notice fight for him, though, because Grishin was supposed to fight somebody else, and he took the fight on 2 weeks' notice. And he is complaining about making weight.
Are you saying he's the short notice fight then?
Who? William Knight? Yeah.
Okay. So who was Grishin fighting before then? Oh, come on. You can't throw a fact like that on the table and not have the information to back it up.
I can't even say his name properly.
Hang on.
Wow.
Was it over Vincent Prue?
Ed Herman.
Oh, it was Ed Herman. Oh, well, that'd have been an interesting one, I suppose. Poor old Ed got choked out the other day, though, didn't he? I'm going to go with William Knight.
Yeah, I will too.
I just think he's a bit of a
And he is so excited to fight in this crowd. I heard an interview that he did.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, because it's the first time he's going to be able to fight in a crowd because of Fight Island and then like only the Apex and a little bit of people and all of that. Now it's going to be an arena and he's...
Has he only ever fought in front of a... Is he not in fought...
Yeah, he's never fought... Yeah. Well, like maybe before, but not like a full crowd like it's going to be here.
Yeah.
He is so buzzing for it. He's so excited. I hope that doesn't like play badly because sometimes you get really excited and then, you get too nervous or
He does have a lot of muscle mass as well.
Yeah.
He might if he exhausts himself too quickly.
And plus,
this guy's
he should
a veteran.
have a
He might
bad
take
weight
over.
cut.
In fact, I'm talking myself out of my pick now. I should have gone with the veteran with the experience. No, I'm sticking with the Wrecking Ball. He's yeah. I think he's going to beat his leg up. I think it's going to be uncomfortable to watch Max Grishin get low kicks by the end of the first round.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Yeah, I'm going for Knight as well.
Okay. Okay. I should have shortened it. Here we go. This is a fun one. So, Alex Perez against Matt Schnell. 24-6 for Alex Perez, 15-6 for Matt Schnell. A 2-inch height advantage for Schnell and a 5-inch reach advantage. Not many knockouts for Matt Schnell with 2, but 8 submissions and a nice even distribution of finishes for Alex Perez. 7 submissions and 5 knockouts. What do you reckon?
Well, for Alex, he has great wrestling. Obviously, he started off as a wrestler, and he does have very good chokes. But his kryptonite seems to be guillotines. Mm-hmm. And in his last fight, I felt like he didn't realize that the guillotine was in, because the way that Figueiredo closed the guard, it was a little bit delayed.
Bit lazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was like, oh yeah, I'll just close it as well. Yeah, I should. It wasn't like I got it, I'm going to close it immediately, and he was reacting to it. It was almost like if Figueiredo would have taken a little bit longer, you probably still wouldn't have reacted to it the way like he would have.
Yeah. It was almost like he didn't feel like he was in danger because he felt like he could escape if he wanted to.
Yeah, and then it kind of became too late. So, and then you have Matt Schnell, who has really good submissions from his back, which are 8 submissions, 2 triangles, 3 arm bars, 2 guillotines, and an inverted triangle. So that I feel like can be his danger, but only his danger if he's not fully focused. Mm-hmm. That I feel like Perez is the better of the two. He has a high striking rate, active UFC flyweight. Well, that was...
Does he really, Perez?
Yeah, that was when he fought Figueiredo last, but...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's changed, but...
I don't know, Moreno might have changed it in the last Figueiredo fight.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably, but when he went to fight him, that was the case. So you can see that pace is sort of a style, and I feel like when wrestlers fight, you can tell that mentality also plays out in their style, because you go from one move to the next and to the next, and you don't really give up positions.
Yeah.
Like jiu-jitsu people usually like, oh, okay, well, I got this, and then I'm going to wait. And wrestlers, it's not. And that sometimes gets them caught. You know, sometimes you work yourself into danger. But most of the time, not so much if you're well aware of those positions. But yeah, he does attack the necks really well. Yeah, and I feel like Matt Schnell leaves gaps with his strike. Like, he'll do a combo, but forget about his opponent sometimes. And there are big gaps where their opponent usually counters.
Yeah. Like Pantoja.
Yeah.
Like when Pantoja knocked him out. Yeah.
That was crazy. That was like back and forth rocking of each other.
I think this fight is going to be played on Alex Perez trying to get the takedown and Matt Schnell trying to catch his neck. I think that's going to be the cycle in this fight. I think Schnell will be happy to strike with him and probably won't opt to go to the ground unless Perez tries to take it there. Because Perez stands quite low, and I feel like Schnell might feel like he can kind of walk him down and just kind of work at him and chop it. Like, because he's probably not bothered about getting taken down, because he's comfortable off his back and he has got good neck attacks, he might be able to just, keep chopping into his lead leg as well and maybe kind of debilitate him a bit. Alex Perez has got great low kicks as well, though, hasn't he? Yeah, I don't know. This is a really interesting fight, I think. I was always impressed with Matt Schnell after I interviewed him, and he was just a very kind of smart individual, very well thought out. I just don't know whether he's maybe found his ceiling in this division, because if you think about the people that he's fought, he's got good wins over good fighters, but then when he stepped up to that slightly higher level in this division, he's kind of banged his head and fell back down. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he might have just kind of found his limitation. Like Pantoja and Bontorin are right up at the top of the division, but then Tyson Nam, Jordan Espinoza, Louis Smolka, they're good fighters. They're not top tier fighters though. And Max Schnell might have found himself in this kind of holding pattern where he's like this. He acts as one of the filters for the top of the division. I think Alex Perez is very, very good, and I think he's still got a lot of growth in his game. And I think a loss to Figueiredo is only going to make him better. This is a big opportunity for Max Schnell. I mean, he's at number 9, and Perez is at number 4. If he can get a win over here, this opens up some real good opportunities for Schnell.
Yeah, I'm still going with Alex.
You're still going with Perez? Okay, yeah. I wasn't trying to convince you otherwise. Okay. I think Alex is going to take it as well, but I do think it's one of the most interesting fights on the card. Okay, on to the next one. So we have, come on, here we go. Roxanne Modafferi against Casey O'Neill. 25-20 for Roxanne. That's mad. You know, when I was fighting out in Japan on Cage Force, Roxanne was there in the crowd because she was living in Japan at the time, translating. And I have it's in the other room, the Cage Force poster in the other room. She grabbed it from the event and then sent me a message a couple of weeks later, and she was like, I managed to get one of the posters if you would like it. And I just sent her, like, I don't know what it was, like $12 for postage, and she sent it to me.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, before I ever met her.
That's sick.
Yeah, she's wicked. She's like hardcore though. She's been around MMA for a long while. This is like the two different ends of the MMA tail, isn't it, really? You've got Roxanne on one end, who's like long-time veteran, 45 fights, has been in the game for a long while, never had any of the real, like, kind of like the physical attributes that lent itself to being an athlete, but she's fucking figured it out through hard work and determination. And then on the other side, you've got Casey O'Neill, who's only had 8 fights, and she's won them all, and everybody's high on her. Like, people have been talking about her as one of the top prospects on the roster and all this kind of stuff. How much does experience play into it, though?
You know what? For as, I don't want to say, like, she strikes ugly, but she strikes ugly.
Who?
Roxanne.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
horrendous.
Like, I don't want to be mean, but it's like,
it's an ugly
it's
style.
bad.
Yeah,
it's like, it's bad to see.
Yeah.
But then she has a win over, like, Macy Barber.
Because she drowns people.
Yeah.
Because she's a smart fighter that knows how to work her way through a fight without taking too much damage.
And Andrei as well, which is another like complete, like, that was an up and coming, very hyped up, like, fighter. Mm-hmm. She does have, obviously she didn't beat Viviane Araujo, but and Talia Santos, but those are like really strong, type of different. And I don't think Casey O'Neill has the same physicality as either of those two Brazilian fighters that, you know, don't know how much USADA has considered them. I mean,
well, I think at least one of them has actually failed. So you're bang on there. Yeah.
I did live in Brazil for a while. They do not test often. No. They do not ever test.
Meanwhile, they're here all the time.
Yeah, they were here yesterday, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Again, it's down to experience for me. Like, I think that Casey's probably going to want to stand and trade with Roxanne because she's going to see the striking being the weakest part of Roxanne's game.
Do you think so? I think she's just gonna like...
Do you think she's going to try and take her down and grapple with her?
Yeah, and like ground and pound her. But that's kind of what Roxanne usually does, you know? It's kind of a game of like maybe who does it better.
I think that would be a bad call. I think it would be a bit of a trap to take Roxanne to the floor and put her where she's most comfortable. Right? I mean, do it if you're trying to prove a point, but if you're trying to win a fight, there's a real awkward. And the other thing as well, you've got to mention is, like, Roxanne can't see very far without her glasses, right? If you're at distance, you don't know how much she can see you, how much she can track you as you're moving around. I've spoken to fighters that wear contact lenses and stuff, and they say, yeah, once you're 2 meters away from me, you're just a blur.
Yeah.
Like, I can see you based on the lighting and the background. Like, that's not ideal if you've got someone that moves through distance very quickly. And, I mean, like you said, Roxanne's striking's not formidable. It's awkward. But if she sees somebody moving towards her and she kind of jabs in that general direction, I would think Casey O'Neill would be able to get her head off the center line and start to counter. Mm-hmm. I mean, she trains at Extreme Couture. They've got a good camp.
Did she train before over? I'm just gonna talk gossip now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so didn't she train before?
Eyebrows. Out of 10. Go on. Didn't she what? Train before
I don't even
where?
see eyebrows here.
Didn't she train before where?
At Syndicate.
Did she really? Yeah.
Yeah, because her last fight. Yeah, her last fight. I heard John Wood in the corner. Right, but this is what happened. She started dating Ty.
Oh.
Which is Hawaiian boy. Very nice guy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hope's best for him.
Yeah.
And he was dating before, what is it? Rose. No, not like Rose. The Jessica.
Oh, Jessie Jess.
Yeah, Jessie
Okay.
Jess. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Fucking hell, we're getting into gossip here. Okay.
So then...
Was this on that episode, that season of The Bachelor that you watched with eyebrows?
No, but I'm saying, like, what I'm trying to get at is she probably trained with Roxanne, right? Probably trained, because Roxanne does a lot of the grappling and does a lot of the teaching of the classes and really is part of, like, the female group that they have at Syndicate. Mm-hmm. And then, because I've been to both gyms, is the only reason, like, I'm mentioning this.
Yeah.
And Casey probably transitioned over when, because there's a lot of like drama in that school, so you don't know if like because John Wood got married to
is that right? All the other girls left.
Yeah, or they just felt like they weren't getting attention and stuff like that, so they went elsewhere. And Roxanne's just been there so long, and is there for different like reasons, sort of thing.
She's like the kids coach and all kinds of stuff. Like, she's like a part of the gym. Yeah.
So now training at Extreme Couture, you have to think Roxanne knows a lot about her, but she also knows a lot about
Roxanne.
Yeah.
But then, which one of them is developing faster? Like, you've got to think Casey's the one that's developing faster. She's right at the beginning of her game. Like, Roxanne's kind of settled in her game now. She's not going to make any massive leaps since her last couple of fights.
Yeah, but I don't see her as being that physically. Like, the girls that she's lost to recently have been because they've been really physically strong. Like, Lauren Murphy's another one that's, like, ripped, shredded. And I know this isn't really, like, a technical aspect as to why I'm going for this, but Roxanne, like, I've trained with her. She's like, tricky, man.
Of course, yeah.
You know, she's
45
been
fights.
there for a long time. Yeah. She knows how to...
She's
go
the
in
female
and
Alistair Overeem.
Yeah, exactly.
She's had a lot of fights, a lot of experience, for sure.
And also with Casey, just because she's had stoppages now, she might feel like she needs to get an impressive... Like, you can see Roxanne, like, striking and being like, oh, I have to finish this fight in, like, 2 minutes because of that, right? And she plays on that very well.
Yeah.
And, like, traps people.
Roxanne just loves to be in there. She's just happy to be in there. Gets a chance to dress up at the weigh-ins. I always wonder what her costume's going to be. I always wonder.
So what do you think's going to be this time?
What do I think her costume's going to be this time?
Yeah.
I think she's going to come dressed as... I don't know. I don't really watch anime stuff. I don't know. Something. She'll come dressed as something, for sure.
Okay.
So which way are you going? You think Roxanne's going to do it? You think Roxanne's going to hand her first loss?
I think so.
Go on.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Where is Roxanne? Number 12. And Casey O'Neill's number 15. Close. I think Casey O'Neill's going to win by decision. I think Roxanne's going to be able to push her the distance, and Casey's not going to be able to stop her. But I think she's going to be able to outwork Roxanne. I think she's going to be able to land the vast majority of strikes. Yeah,
that's the more logical. I know it is. But still, I'm going to go for Roxanne.
Fair enough. Okay. It's going to be a good fight. I do think Casey O'Neill's got a promising future in this division. But like you said, some of the fighters above her, Araujo and the like.
Yeah, they're all like really strong girls. But
really strong girls.
Really strong USADA, not visiting girls.
We're going to have to censor some of this shit. I told you. Okay, next one. Let's move on.
If they've been caught, why you have to censor me?
I think they have. I genuinely think they're both.
So why am I the one that needs to be censored? You know?
Okay. Move on. Heavyweights: Andrei Arlovski, Jared Vanderaa. 32-20 with 2 no contests. Andrei Arlovski, 12-6 for Vanderaa.
This card has a lot of like big experience guys with like the new one. It's kind of, it looks like a filtering card.
Yeah, it does a little bit. 43-29, 17 knockouts to 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. People forget Andrei Arlovski's got submissions on his record. He's got good ankle locks. I think Andrei's got to the stage of his career where he's not trying to prove anything. Not trying to prove anything anymore. He's had such a career. He is the former heavyweight champion. I think he's just riding it till the wheels fall off, genuinely. I don't really think he thinks he's going to get back to a title shot. I mean, anytime he's been up near the top 5, he's struggled. You know, Sakai, he lost a split decision. He got stopped by Rosenstrike, and Aspinall choked him in the second round and made it look like he'd just kind of decided he'd had enough fighting and just ran at him and got the job done. But then you look at his fights against Philip Lins and Tanner Boser and, you know, Carlos Felipe and a real high-pressure fighter. Like, you can tell how much experience Andrei Arlovski's got. You can tell how slick he is at just kind of, you know, being smart as a heavyweight. Vanderaa is a big lump. He's going to come and I think he's going to try and wrestle Andrei Arlovski. I think he's going to try and put him against the fence on the floor and TKO him with ground and pound in the first round. And my concern is he might be successful.
Well, I'm going to go for the veteran on this one as well.
Yeah, I'm not picking against Andrei, but that's my concern.
Yeah.
I think I could see Vanderaa with a tight waist, driving him into the fence and just jackhammer hooks into the side of the head. Because Andrei Arlovski, whenever he goes out in recent fights, he's always on his fucking hands and knees. He's like, I've had enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when Ngannou knocked him out, that uppercut that lifted him, and he just on his hands and knees. Same with Rosenstrike when he got dropped with that counter left. Just lands on his hands and knees. I could just see that with Vanderaa just kind of on him like a. His whole vibe is he's a bully, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's
but
a bit
he's
like
not
Nelson
as slick as all the guys that like you've just mentioned.
Yeah, true. But but it's just that first round, like the chance of Arlovski getting clipped on the chin and ran into the fence by a guy whose nickname is the Mountain. And him just getting fucking mauled like he did against Hunsucker in the Contender Series.
Yeah, but Andrei's also like a mountain. I was once in an elevator with him, and I was like,
yeah.
If he decides to crush me, I'm dead.
Yeah. Yeah, but still, look, you know, an inch height but 3-inch reach advantage. And he's definitely going to be heavier by 30 pounds at least. Like, he's going to look like a much bigger guy compared to Andrei. Andrei was always one of the most athletic heavyweights, but he is 43 now.
Yeah, you know? The new heavyweights coming out now.
And you kind of look at his pattern, like he wins a couple, then he loses one, and he wins a couple, and he loses one. I'm genuinely pulling for Andrei Arlovski in this one. I think if he can put together a performance like he did against Felipe and against Boser, where he is smart and on his toes and forcing his opponent to miss, and he gets through those first 3 or 4 minutes, then I think he's good, and I think he can work his way to a decision win.
Yeah.
I'm just concerned because you know there's going to be a point where that's it. You know what I mean? He's no longer competitive at heavyweight in the UFC. I don't know whether it's right now, but I just feel like Vanderaa might just be a bit of a bully in this fight. We'll see. I'm picking Andrei anyway.
Yeah, I am as well.
Okay, main card time. And what a fight to kick it off. So a lightweight clash: Nasrat Haqparast against Nasrat Haqparast against Bobby Green. This is going to be a banger. I like Bobby Green. I like watching him, but I wouldn't tell somebody else to watch him to learn good technique. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like hands down, chin in the air, like looking for those kind of crafty pot shots as people come in. I mean, you know, he's effective with it, but I feel like Haqparast is a tighter, more compact, more polished striker. He's got better discipline. I
think Bobby Green sometimes isn't like when he throws his hands. Sometimes I see his back foot drift a little bit, which means that he's not fully planted.
Yeah, he kind of wings shots.
Yeah.
Bit of a street fighter. Street fighter style. Now, I was impressed with Haqparast when he fought Mark Jacasey. Because Jacasey's tall, fast, rangy, very, very skilled. And Haqparast was always on his front foot. Never gave him that space to breathe. And I think he could do that against Bobby Green. He's got to be tight with his guard because Bobby Green's going to be swinging from the fences. And you know he hits with power. I mean, 9 knockouts. He does crack people clean and hurt them. But I don't know. I think Haqparast is going to be able to do this.
Yeah. He reminds me so much of Khalid.
Oh, Khalid Taha. Yeah.
Taha, yes. Yeah.
He's
been in
Khalid
his corner
Taha and
as
a bit
well.
Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, he's like both of them. He has
Yeah.
been in his corner as well. So I think that might be some of the similarities in styles because he says he fights from like Hamburg. It's probably from that Hammerbrook gym.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Bobby Green's style because he's entertaining to watch, but I feel like when he comes up against someone that's got more polished striking than him, he does kind of come apart. And he is always dangerous, but I mean, you think back to what Fiziev did to him. That was a unanimous decision loss for Bobby Green, and I feel like Haqparast might be able to push into that range and pressure him with the same kind of striking. Maybe not quite as powerful, but yeah, that's what I reckon. I reckon Haqparast's going to do it. Decision win for Haqparast.
Yeah, I'll go with the same.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on.
So what happened to the clips? I feel like you had it in the beginning. Like started strong.
It's like when there are fights outside of the UFC, and it's something I've seen before they've arrived at the UFC. I'm not using other clips.
Okay.
Just if I find some good stuff outside of the UFC,
all right.
Give the smaller shows a bit of love and all that.
Oh, I see.
Not fucking cause any problems.
No, you just want to zoom into the people that getting kicked in the head. You're mean.
I'm not mean.
That's mean.
I am entertained. That is what they're there for. Okay. Kyler Phillips against Marcelo or Rojo. Now, you interviewed Marcelo.
I did interview him.
Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't speak Spanish on the channel.
Yeah, but a bunch of people did, and a lot of people enjoyed it. I even heard one guy who listened the whole thing all the way through, even though he doesn't know any Spanish, and he thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, that's nice.
So there you go.
I think we're both like the weird accent group.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because my Spanish accent, it is Venezuelan, but it is a little bit mixed from living in Miami. That there's all these different types of cultures, and he's lived in Mexico and hung around so many Mexican athletes his accent isn't Argentinian. So he's kind of like a mix between both.
Yeah, it's a bit like Gunnar Nelson, who's when he speaks English, he's got like an Irish accent because he's trained in Dublin. He does. It really suits him as well. He could pass as Irish.
Yeah. Well, it has nothing to do with his fighting, by the way. But
what did Marcelo have to say for himself? What did he have to say about Kyler Phillips?
Well, he's been training really hard.
Has he?
Yeah, from what I heard.
Where's he training?
Well, right now he's at the Apex.
Okay.
So he trains at Entran Gym in Tijuana, but because Brandon Moreno had that fight with Figueiredo, he came over there. He came with him, right? Yeah, he came with him, and he's been training there. So that means like his nutrition has been watched out for, his training, his just everything has been top level watched out for.
Yeah.
Especially if you think about a fight that was for the belt.
Well, yeah, he's been in Moreno's shadow for the past few weeks, so that's going to have done him a lot of favors.
Yeah.
Good experience for him. Although I wonder whether that changed the kind of mood in the camp when Moreno didn't win. You know what I mean? Like whether
he was like fired up.
Was he? Yeah.
Yeah, he told in the interview. One thing that I said was, what is that dude's name? The bald dude that you call Barnacle.
Waleed Ismail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was. So Waleed was talking about like another fight and stuff, and he was ready to jump on him, and then Moreno told him to like calm down, that it's okay that he lost. That's how it is. Like no need. And then he was like, okay, I'll respect Moreno. It didn't, but I mean.
Yeah, what's the
type of teammate that you want in your back,
sure.
Ready to go.
Well, and a couple of weeks away from his fight as well. You got to think how fired up he must feel anyway.
Yeah, I did ask him because obviously the fight was in California, and then when fight week is always, it's not the most ideal. Like training in the hotel is usually like a really small place, and everybody wants to train at the same time.
Yep.
The mats are horrible, and Yeah, but
yeah. Although no, he would have probably been looked after because he was with the champ.
Yeah,
so they would have probably had like private training room and stuff.
And a lot of his team, so because it was so close, the whole team came up. So he said he didn't feel like he lost any training, and the PI, everybody at the PI was there, so they gave him all his meals. So none of his nutrition was cut off or affected by it. It was just,
because they all travel with the UFC anyway, so they're all that's cool. It's been a pretty good setup for him then.
Yeah, it has.
So, what do you think to Kyler Phillips?
I love Kyler Phillips.
Of course you do, because he's super slick and he's a bit wild and he throws all kinds of shit.
I love it.
So when he first,
I was sad this got matched up because I'm like, I like both guys.
Because you like both of them,
yeah.
So his Kyler Phillips' nickname is the Matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this so when he was a kid, I can't remember whether his dad used to call him like the Hurricane or the Tornado. But they used to take him to they used to go to parties, like family parties and stuff, and he'd be grappling with the other kids there. And like having like cleared the furniture out, and these kids are grappling and stuff. And he was always like wild. He was just kind of scrappy and wild. But then since he got to MMA Lab, and you got to think, being around the likes of Anthony Pettis and stuff's got to help. Like he's a super slick striker. Now they call him the Matrix, and he is very, very slick. He is very slick. I think most people are probably going to be having him as the favorite coming into this against Rojo. Would you not say?
Yeah, I would say.
Are you picking this one then? Which way are you going?
Wait, before that, man, you gotta marinate the sauce before you give your picks. You just go
I didn't even know there was sauce. You're making me hungry.
But I would say, because he trains with MMA and the guys at MMA Lab, I think that's perfect for him, especially his style. Because I got to train with Ryan Diaz over in Vancouver, but he's part of that. He sometimes goes to it, and they're great at making your crazy style effective, which I feel like it's good because you don't feel like you're giving up a part of yourself. So sometimes when that's the way you fight and people just try to control it too much, it almost makes you fight differently, and then the thing that made you so good, it takes it away. And they just give him tool sets, and the wrestlers they have in that gym is insane. So they're great at giving you tool sets too. Yeah, and he has Mario Bautista he trains with, which is another tough dude that fires hard.
So which way are you going then? You're gonna have to make a pick. That's the whole point of the show.
I don't wanna.
I know you don't, but this is part of the fun. Okay. Let me just go through the stats while we're here. So there's only a reach advantage by 1 inch for Kyler Phillips. 8 wins by knockout and 6 wins by submission for Marcelo Rojo. An overall record of 16-8. So a bit more experience, a lot more finishes. 6 finishes for Kyler Phillips, 5 by knockout, 3 by submission. Now if you think, so Kyler Phillips has had 11 fights and Rojo's had 24. And Kyler Phillips has been the distance more times than Rojo. Rojo's only been the distance twice out of 24 fights. He's a banger.
Yeah,
he's a lot of fun to watch.
Goes into for the kill.
But then if you look at the average fight time, it's actually more. Look at that. 14.5 minutes compared to 10 18.
Yeah, but are there any 5-round fights for him?
No. Why has Kyler Phillips had a 5-round fight?
No, I'm saying for
No. So which way are you going? You need to make a pick.
I don't want to. Okay, I'm going to pick Kyler Phillips. I'm sorry, Marcelo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know. I feel like quite an asshole.
He's never going to speak to you again.
I know. Well, he doesn't.
But meanwhile, you might get an interview with Kyler Phillips.
No, I'm not doing it for that. That's messed up. No,
right?
That's not. That's not cool.
Okay.
That's not, because I did want to interview Kyler before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Kyler Phillips is really going to be pushed in this fight.
Yeah.
I think Rojo's going to really be able to drag him into the later rounds, but I do think Phillips is probably going to win 2 of the 3 rounds and take the decision. But I think he's going to be pushed. Rojo
has good knockout power too. If he does his crazy stuff and then not when he sees it really there, because I'm all for crazy things if they're the right moment. If you don't do a Michael Pereira.
Yeah. Backflip off the fence.
Or you're about to finish him and then you do a jumping knee 3 times and then it doesn't get finished because you kept doing that jumping knee.
If he had landed it, it would have been brilliant.
Yeah, but that's not
But he didn't.
brilliant. Is to
So no
finish
one
the
will remember.
fight. Yeah. I think Marcelo can catch him. He does have good knockout power.
Yeah.
And he's been training hard, and body shots can be a big factor in this fight just because of the way Moreno trains. You have to think they stand quite close to each other and they go nice combos to the body and the head. And usually, or I think Argentinians have really good boxing because that's kind of what they have there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, just a lot of really good guys have now come to Entram Gym after Brandon Moreno won the belt, just because I think all these Hispanic people are like coming in as seeing him as, oh, this is the perfect way to move forward. So he says like a bunch of people have joined the team, which I think is pretty great.
But you're still picking Kyler Phillips.
Yeah, I'm still picking.
Yeah. Well, Phillips. I'll pick Marcelo Rojo. I'll still be friends with him. Thank you for doing an interview for the channel, Marcelo. I'll support you. I mean, I can't believe she would pick against you. Unbelievable.
I think Kyler would win a decision. Marcelo wins by knockout.
Oh, okay. So I think it's going to go the distance, but I think Kyler Phillips is going to win 2 of the 3 rounds. He might be deep in on a submission, or he might drop him and hurt him and win a 10-8 round.
Didn't he just pick Marcelo? So your math don't work?
What? I'm making an argument for your guy now. You just made an argument for my pick. I'm picking Rojo. He's gonna clean his clock. He's gonna come in with some wild spinning stuff, and Rojo's gonna go bang, 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 done, game over, 8 knockouts, done, 6 submissions, done.
Yeah.
Finisher.
So done. You didn't even know how to circle. Finisher.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it, to be honest, but I'm just picking opposite you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. We're on to the Coco main event, aren't we?
Yes.
Which I'm glad this is on the card, because I do like a double feature. When the headliner is a middleweight bout, I like to have another good high level fight on the main card alongside it. So these two are both. Hang on a minute, where are the rankings? So that's what we need on here, Jamie. We need the rankings. Okay, so Brunson is number 4. And where's Cannon here? Number 3. Number 4 against number 3. This is a banger of a fight.
Yeah.
I've never been a massive fan of Brunson's style. I am amazed how effective he is against high level fighters.
You've mentioned that to me it kind of annoys you a little.
It does annoy me. Yeah. I remember sitting cage side when he fought Rob Whittaker, and he went flying at him. Like, if you slow down any Derrick Brunson fights, he's usually like on one leg, like in this kind of posture, like honestly,
just screenshot that, man. Just screenshot it.
Honestly, most of his fights, he's in this kind of like, it's like he's trying to catch himself from falling on roller skates.
Yeah.
You know, when people like have that kind of, like they're trying to catch them, like that's what he looks like most of the fucking time. I just hate watching it. Like when he's effective with his wrestling, okay, fair enough. And he's got a hell of a rocket in his left hand, but he does that kind of places his right hand, hits them, place, hit, place, and he just gets way too overexcited. He goes fucking running at people. Like both of the guys in the main event tooled him in the striking because he was too overzealous. With Rob Whittaker, he thought he had him knocked out and he was chasing him. Rob Whittaker hit him with a counter left hook and then the head kick to TKO finish. Against Adesanya, if you remember, he was sprinting at Adesanya and Adesanya kept defending the takedown, then ran him onto that knee and then caught him with that lovely jab to head kick to jab. He's just reckless. He's wild, and I think he might have a damn good chance of beating Jared Cannonier, and that's going to annoy me because I think Jared Cannonier is a better technical fighter. I don't think he's got the same kind of wrestling credentials. But I did see him get hurt against Whittaker in that third round, and I just feel like Brunson might be able to catch him with something wild in the first round.
It's going to be
fucking ugly.
You look so concerned.
Because it's going to be ugly.
On the
if
eyebrows
Brunson wins.
go like that. He's just concerned right now.
Talking of eyebrows, he's someone that's got fucking perfect eyebrows as well.
You know what? I think he thinks he's Brazilian.
Why?
Because, you know, when Charles Oliveira went to, like, the bleach hair and now he thinks it's the winning streak, like, it's like his lucky charm. He went and then did the blonde hair and then just been on a streak.
Oh, have you checked the timelines?
Oh,
Did Brunson not have the blonde hair before?
No, he didn't. Like, before
sure?
the streak, yeah.
Are you sure?
Well, I don't know when it started.
So you're picking Brunson based on his hair color then? Is that what you're saying?
Because this guy also does the Crystal Council.
He does do the Crystal Council. He has
doesn't
rocks.
Do the Crystal Council. He's also like with them.
A member of He has what was it? What did he have on the stage? He had a pyrite. He had like a pyrite egg on the stage, and he was holding it out. I can't remember who it was he was fighting.
So what is pyrite?
It's like a protection from bad energy.
Ah.
Yeah. Which is surrounded with in fight week, of course.
Yeah. You gotta get like the big things.
Build a fucking wall out of rocks and fucking hide behind it. So Derrick Brunson is a very effective fighter. He's not technically very finesseful, but I do feel like he could be a real problem for Jared Cannonier, who has got good takedown defense.
He looks scary.
He is scary. And bear in mind, he came into the UFC as a heavyweight.
Yeah.
And he went down to light heavyweight and then down to middleweight. I would like Jared Cannonier to win this one because I do feel like he's a really interesting addition to this division. And I do think, you know, he's got good striking. He strikes out of both stances. He's got good takedown defense. I'm just not a massive fan of Derrick Brunson's style. It's just ugly, chin in the air, fucking swinging. What's his takedown defense? Derrick Brunson. Jared Cannonier's takedown defense is 62% compared to Derrick Brunson's 34% takedown accuracy. I think Jared Cannonier's going to do it.
Yeah, no, I do as well. But, like, you got to think this guy's been up there against, like, Jan
Blachowicz.
Yeah. Glover.
Didn't he fight?
Did
he fight Dominic Reyes?
Yeah, Dominic Reyes as well. Like, those are, like, really big guys.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva, Jack Hermanson, Kelvin Gastelum.
Mm-hmm.
All guys that could cause sort of, like, the same issues that he has. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that he beat these, like, light heavyweights, but still, he has been there with people that are big and that are massive, and that experience is gonna serve great in this fight. And he just has nasty power.
He does. I mean, he stopped Hermanson during a takedown attempt, and I think he could do the same thing for Brunson.
Yeah.
I'm picking Cannonier.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I am as well, yeah.
Okay, next fight. Dun, 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 dun. Co-main event in the heavyweight division. Derrick Lewis against Tai Tuivasa. What?
Yes.
Oh, what a fucking fight this is going to be. This is worth setting your alarm to stay up for. I mean, holy shit, look at this. So Derrick Lewis is the biggest puncher in the heavyweight division. 26-8 with 1 no contest. 21 knockouts. He has got 1 submission. Who knows? 21 knockouts out of 26 wins. That is immense. But then you go, well, Tai Tuivasa doesn't have the same kind of experience, but he's on the same trajectory. 14-3 is his record with 13 knockouts. And his 1 win by decision was over Andrei Arlovski, which is a good win to have. A very good 15 minutes of work against a very, very tough individual. Now, of course, Derrick Lewis has the height advantage and the reach advantage, but Tai Tuivasa closes distance so well. And I think he can learn so much from the Mark Hunt fight, because Mark Hunt was all over Derrick Lewis.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Here comes my theory.
Okay.
Derrick Lewis really doesn't like being tired.
Hates it.
Like, for
Can't
him,
hide it if he's tired.
No. Like, who was it that he was fighting that Herb Dean didn't stop it, so he was like, all right, fine, I'll continue.
Mark Hunt, was it not Mark Hunt?
Yeah.
And he was fucking exhausted.
Yeah, he was like, oh. And then Herb Dean didn't come in, so he was like, all right, fine, I'll keep fighting. But it wasn't like, I got like...
No.
Well, maybe like body hurt or something.
Are you talking about the JDS fight?
JDS, that's the one. That's the one.
So he got was it front kicked in the stomach? And he was like folded over, like holding his stomach.
No, that's the one where he was like this and then he just threw that shot.
Yeah.
Every time I see that, it's so funny. I laughed so much.
Well, it's the same as the Volkov fight, though, isn't it? Like, you can't ever count him out because there's always that chance that he's going to just fucking wing a shot over the top and take your head off.
But that also buys him a lot of time to recover.
It does.
Right? Because fighters will be like, oh, no, I can't go in because he's dangerous. And at the same time, he's like, oh, I'm so glad they're not coming in. I'm so tired.
Yeah, but that's the thing. There's a point, right? There's a point where it goes from him being, okay, like in the in the JDS fight, although Cyril Gane fight would be a good example as well. It starts off with him being not fatigued.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. He's happy to fight. He's walking forward. And there's this danger that he's going to knock you out, right?
Yeah, when he swings.
Then he tries to swing a few times and he misses, and then he starts to get a little bit tired. So now he's not quite as aggressive, and now he starts to move back a little bit. You can't walk him down then because he's still just as lethal, but now he's not moving forward and being lethal. Now he's waiting to be lethal, right?
Yeah.
Then there's the point where he's got his hands on his hips and he's fucked. And even in the situations where he is swinging at his opponents, like, you can see it coming. And why is it when he gets tired does he decide he's going to start doing flying knees?
Yo, but they're
like,
good.
Why is that?
It's like he almost...
I'm not saying they're not good, but it's just a bad choice of energy. Like, a flying knee costs you 5 credits of energy. An overhand costs you 2 credits of energy. So you throw 2 overhands instead of a flying knee. Like, high kicks, you don't need high kicks. You don't need any of that shit against Tai Tuivasa.
He turns into Chris Barnett.
Chris.
Right?
Chris Barnett's his spirit animal.
Yeah. When he's really tired, he pulls a Chris Barnett out, switch spins or something.
Yeah, and then exhausts like, himself even more.
That made me want to puke.
Yeah. And as soon as you get that, as soon as his hands go on his hips... You're like, okay, that's it.
Okay.
As soon as he starts walking away from his opponent, like he's just eaten a full lasagna, and he doesn't think he can get to the end of the fight without puking.
Where was it? I saw like a picture. Oh, it was a little bit sad because it was a coach that passed away. But he had posted a picture of Derrick Lewis, who had just had like a bunch of like chicken, like a bunch of fried chicken and a rack of ribs right before stepping out and fighting.
I heard about that. He's just an anomaly, isn't he? He's just an anomaly. But then again, like, you look at Tai Tuivasa, and I would say he's kind of a similar type of anomaly. He doesn't have the same experience, but he is, I would say, a slightly more polished striker. You know, he trained with Mark Hunt. Mm-hmm. He's got good power as well as good striking skills. I think he's got a better game face than Derrick Lewis. I don't think you'll see if Tai Tuivasa's hurt or tired quite as much as you would Derrick Lewis. And I also think Ty's, you know, he's on his way up. He's on a good trajectory. I think this is a big opportunity for him. This is a really good opportunity for him. I mean, I've done a war room on this and the main event, so you can check them both out. But I think Tai Tuivasa might have a good opportunity here to really cause an upset, because I think most people are expecting Derrick Lewis to come away with the win.
Yeah.
I think Tai might do him.
Okay, but all right, think about this. The time Derrick Lewis has lost and has been more tired is because he knows he's fighting 5 rounds.
Okay.
So that mentally, automatically, when you're tired and you're just exhausted and you think, I have 3 or 4 more rounds to go, that makes you way more tired.
Okay. but these last 3 fights have all ended before the 4th round.
Yeah, but
like,
that doesn't...
Gane stopped him in the 3rd.
Yeah, because he's already thinking about how tired he's going to be.
But he was gassed to fuck against JDS as well. I'm just saying that I think Tai Tuivasa can tease him and poke him enough to make him swing and miss. And I also think Tai takes a hell of a shot. So even if he does get clipped occasionally, I think he might be all right. And I know, of course, that is a big ask against Derrick Lewis.
21 wins by
him. 21 out of 26 wins. Hang on.
Yeah, that's a good
26 wins.
Percentage.
It is a good percentage, but 13 out of 14.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. So then double that. So 28 wins for Tai Tuivasa would give him 26 knockouts. I mean, I'm not saying that kind of maths works, but I'm just saying his power is comparable. I'm also saying that I have seen Tai Tuivasa lose, but I haven't seen him hurt. I've seen Derrick Lewis tired, and I've seen him hurt.
Okay. But I go back to my theory that...
What? You've got a theory?
Okay, just like how his game face kind of goes out the window at all times. When you think, oh, it's only 2 more minutes left, come on, let's go. Like when you're tired and you're sprinting or you have something, when you have a shorter amount of time left, you're also more likely to like push on.
There's never an activity where Derrick Lewis thinks to himself, there's only 2 minutes left. 2 minutes in Derrick Lewis's world is a fucking long time. Even if all you have to do is stand up. That's a long time.
Well, he's beating people who are better than him.
Yeah, no.
Curtis Blade, technically, I think is better than him.
Yeah. Derrick Lewis, yeah, no, he is. He is for sure. Curtis Blade should be able to out-wrestle him. Curtis Blade should be able to out-wrestle Tai Tuivasa. But the point of difference is that both of these guys are going to want to strike. I don't think either of them are going to want to try and take the other one down. Because Derrick Lewis is not going to want to waste that kind of energy. Tai Tuivasa is good enough to scramble to keep on his feet. I think this is going to be if anything, Ty's going to use the clinch and he's going to tie him up against the fence and he's going to beat him up at close range so he stifles his power.
Yeah.
But even at close range, what he did to Daukus, those 2 short hooks.
Oh, just the way he grabs you.
Just boom, boom, and Daukus is... Oh, man. And I picked Daukus for that one as well, didn't I, James?
Well, what did you describe this fight as?
It's a barbecue fight. It is a barbecue fight, isn't it? It's an argument over a parking space at a barbecue fight. For sure. Because both of them have got a truck that's fucking way too big for any human being to need. Unless you tow in the Titanic to the sea, you don't need a fucking truck that big. Although having said that, Derrick Lewis did rescue a bunch of people, didn't he, with his truck? Anyway,
God,
what's your pick? What's your pick?
Derrick Lewis.
Of course you're picking Derrick Lewis. I'm going to pick Tai Tuivasa.
Plus, I want to see the post-fight interview with him. My balls was hot.
You see him take his cup out in his last fight and throw it into the crowd. Brilliant. Fucking hell. It's either someone's going to get hit in the head with Derrick Lewis's cup or someone's going to get a fucking wet shoe from Tai Tuivasa. Either way, we just don't need the main event.
Every time I see that, I'm just like...
Yeah, I wouldn't drink beer out of my own shoe, let alone somebody else's.
I wouldn't even drink beer. That itself is nasty. A lot of people disagree with me, but okay.
Okay, let's move on. Main event time.
Bum, bum, bum.
Because it's about my dinner time. I'm getting hungry. So, tell me what you got. I've recorded like 6 hours worth of content on this.
It's about my dinner time. It's about time that I make him dinner.
I didn't say that. Come on, fucker. What have you got?
Okay. I will say, and I just want to say this to you. That was such an amazing breakdown. And like, I mean it. It was incredible.
Thank you.
And I'm not saying that because like, you're in front of me. But it was sick.
Thanks.
It was epic. And I hope Robert watches it. I feel like you kind of did the breakdown like a little bit like, Robert, watch this. Do this a little bit, because if you do this, you're going to win.
Honestly, no, I don't. I don't. I think what it is, well, first of all, when it's a rematch, I'm always more inclined to speak for the person that lost the first fight.
It makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I think you have to make an argument for the person that lost the first fight if they're going into the rematch and they got starched in the first fight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's my first thing. Second of all, there's not much that Adesanya can do to influence the victory in this fight aside from being himself. Whereas Rob Whittaker's got a few strings to his bow. I don't expect Adesanya. I don't think it's an option for Adesanya to come out and take Rob Whittaker down. Right? So all we do about Adesanya is celebrate what we already know he's very good at, which is a variety of different striking, like the lead leg attack, which is going to be a key in this one. His straight punches to set up his high kicks, which is going to be key, like he used against Costa. And then those drift away hooks that we've seen him and his teammates using in the videos earlier in the show. I don't expect him to come in looking like a wrestler. I don't think he's going to Ngannou him. You know what I mean? Like, Ngannou surprised me. I'm like, holy shit, not only is he wrestling, but he's wrestling well.
Yeah.
I don't expect that from Adesanya. I saw so many bad habits in his half guard against Vitória and against Blachowicz that I don't know how much he's actually spending working on his ground game anyway. Genuinely, it was concerning because I wouldn't want to see anybody making those basic mistakes. And Adesanya, I think, has got great takedown defense. But I also think that there's a limit to that. And if you keep pushing him into the later rounds, and this is 5 rounds, keep pushing him into the later rounds, then, that starts to give a bit. Mm-hmm. And I think Whittaker's proven in his last couple of fights that he's got decent, his last fight in particular, he's got good takedowns. Good ground control against Gastelum. And I think he's psychologically in a different place as well. I think Whittaker can do more to influence the victory by making better decisions on his own than Adesanya can. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no.
Because I think that's what came across in the breakdown. Because of course I do like to lean towards the person that lost the first fight because I do feel like you have to make more of an argument. But I also feel like, well, you've heard the phrase, you've got to play your cards right. Yeah. I think Whittaker's got to play his cards right. I think Adesanya comes with the same hand, and I think he's going to get you if you're not paying attention. I think Whittaker can either win or lose this fight based on his decisions. I don't know. I've not really thought about it this much, to be honest. I don't think it's the same thing for Adesanya. I think he does what he does. And he's excellent at it. And I think he does enough takedown defense and scrambling to keep him there. But once he's on his back, that's where Whittaker rolls over him.
Yeah. You got to think, Adesanya became champion quite quickly. Mm-hmm. And, all of his fights and everything kind of happened quite quickly. So when that happens, it doesn't really give you time. If you go from training camp to training camp, it doesn't really give you time to improve on the things you lack. Mm-hmm. It just gives you time to bolster on the things that you're already good at. Because it's usually during that time off that people will, Robert, that took some time off, put on a gi, did a lot of grappling and kind of improved on his overall skill set in a different way. And you kind of, and also being kind of the alpha in your team, not alpha, but the team captain.
Yeah. The most famous, the most successful.
You kind of,
there was definitely a lot of pressure on him.
You kind of just don't even want to mess up in the gym because then people are like, oh, I got this on him, and they'll walk out of the gym a certain way. You don't want to feel that way. It's I
think he's got quite a tight team, and I don't think he lets anybody in. I don't the vibe is like that, but I do think that the pressure of him being the champion, and I do think the pressure of Adesanya coming up and making a name for himself very quickly while Whittaker was sitting on the sidelines was really probably quite aggravating for him. But I just think he was burnt out. I mean, who would not be burnt out after 10 rounds against Yoel Romero? And the hernia and the staph infection and the knee injury. And
he had something with his daughter as well, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember what that was, but I do remember hearing something about it. I mean, I think he's in a very different place now. And I think that he's been working on his game. I think he's been rounding out his game. I think we've seen good improvements in his last few fights. And I think we've seen Adesanya show what he's already really good at in his last few fights. Mm-hmm. And I've not seen him answer those correction. I think his takedown defense when his back foot's against the fence is good. And that's what we saw against Marvin Vettori. But still, when Vettori was able to take him down, he controlled him for nearly 7 minutes. I have a feeling Whittaker, and I don't know why I keep saying it, but I have a feeling that Whittaker's probably going to either catch him with an arm triangle or take his back in a scramble and be able to choke him.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean, Adesanya gave his back to Vettori in the scramble. And the other thing as well is the expectations of Adesanya when he came into the UFC were high. They gave him Rob Wilkinson in his debut, which was not a particularly tough fight for him. I mean, he's kind of like a regional champion, Rob Wilkinson. I mean, no disrespect, but he was brought in to get that win, that first win on Adesanya's record, clearly. And Adesanya, I mean, he kind of toyed with him, but he didn't put him out impressively. He just beat him up to the point where the referee stepped in and stopped it. Then he had a split decision against Marvin Vettori. And then after that, after the next 3 fights, after the Vettori fight, he had 3 more fights and he was fighting for the interim title. He fought Tavares, Brunson, and Anderson Silva. And at the time, Silva was ranked number 15. Yeah. It was an odd run to an interim title, especially because there was so many other things going on in the division at the time. Like GSP fighting Bisping and Whittaker having the interim belt and then going in to defend it against Romero for the actual belt, and then all of a sudden you've got two guys fighting for the interim belt, and neither of them's Yoel Romero, and that makes no fucking sense to anybody.
Yeah. There was a pretty big mess.
It was a huge mess, and then and now Adesanya, and there is a burden having the belt. I think Rose has spoken about it as well. Like, what can Adesanya work on in between fights? How much time does he have in between fights? How often is he gonna go onto the mats and work jiu-jitsu 4 or 5 days a week, which is probably what he needs to be doing? He's probably going to bolster the skills that he's already got, like you would if you went to a gym that had a mat full of sharks and it was always hard sparring. You don't get better at anything. You don't learn anything new. You get better at what you're already good at.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Adesanya's done. I don't think we're going to see any surprises from his ground game. I'll be surprised if he does the right thing in half guard. That's the stage I'm at with Adesanya's ground game.
Yeah.
I love him as a striker. I think he's fucking elite. But he's also elite in a whole bunch of guys that are Sean Strickland's and Hermansson's, who aren't elite strikers. He toyed with Paulo Costa, made him look silly. That's because he's got an elite level striking, but that will level out in the next few years. And Adesanya will look very one-sided in his game. And I think we might see that in this fight coming up. I think Whittaker might be able to expose his...
But you don't think Robert gets a little bit emotional sometimes? Like,
yeah.
He did, even though he was playing really smart, for example, with Darren Till, he did still take his eye off the ball and get clipped with something that he probably shouldn't have gotten clipped with, And just as much as he has 5 rounds to take him down and, get his back or submit him or do whatever, Israel also has 5 rounds where he's bound to make a mistake. And now there's, it's a crowd again, which... I don't know if it affected him on their first fight or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it was pretty massive crowd.
It was massive. It was 57,000 people.
Yeah.
But I don't think he dealt with that very well, because he'd already been in that arena when Rousey and Holm fought. He was on the undercard. That was 56,000 people, and Adesanya was in the crowd for that one. So their experiences going into the first one were very different. But Whittaker wasn't himself in that fight. He was emotional. And then he went into the Darren Till one, and he started out in the first minute, and he looked pretty good. But 9 months out, and the pressure of returning to competition, and Darren Till being as tricky as he is, he got caught with another shot. I feel like after the first Adesanya fight, and then the first round against Till, I think Whittaker's now learned that lesson not to rush in. 5 rounds, take your time. Don't open up, Don't give him too much to work off, because the more you throw at him, the more he's going to read. And then, start to grapple with him end of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. And just make it an MMA fight. Don't even be determined to take him down every time. Sometimes level change to come up to strike, or level change to grapple a little bit to then come up to strike, or, strike to grapple to strike. Like all the level changing stuff that we do in training. Yeah. Like constantly changing that rhythm will not allow Adesanya to settle into a kickboxing match. Because if he settles into a kickboxing match, Whittaker's He's counting down the minutes before he gets caught. Because I do think Adesanya is a level above Whittaker when it comes to his striking, his precision striking. I think he's tighter. I think his defense is better. But I think Whittaker might be able to expose his ground game.
I just feel like he has too many cards to play right for this fight. Like you're saying, if he does this,
no, I agree.
that's a lot of stars to be aligned for you to win.
It is.
That's a lot, yeah. That's just my only thing. It's that I do think he has the tool sets to beat him. And just because, overall, he might be he's less specialist and more, overall well-rounded in comparison to Adesanya. But then again, Adesanya just has such great takedown defense that...
He does have great takedown defense if you're only trying to take him down. Like Brunson was only trying to take him down, so he was able to defend those takedowns. Yeah. Vettori, once he got frustrated that he couldn't hit him, was only trying to take him down against the fence, and he was defending them. But if you watch the Blachowicz fight, Blachowicz would tempt him with striking, then he would start doing those lean back counter hooks that he caught Whittaker with in the first one. His feet stay planted and his hips are square. And I think Whittaker showed in the Darren Till fight that he's able to mix up his takedown attempts with his striking. And I think that might be enough to throw Adesanya off and be able to... And I'm not saying he's not going to have to work for it. Whittaker's probably going to fail the first 4 or 5 takedown attempts, but I think he'll get him there eventually. I don't know. I mean, I genuinely don't care who wins. I genuinely enjoy watching both of them. I'm just kind of... I'd like to see Whittaker apply a smart game plan and come out on top because of decisions he's made.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because I think that would also give Izzy 6 months to then go away and just work on his ground game and come back a more formidable fighter. As it is right now, I feel like Izzy's... It's a matter of time before someone is able to expose that the holes in his game at middleweight that Jan did at light heavy. And I didn't think it was going to be Vettori, but it could be Whittaker.
Yeah, it's more likely to be Whittaker. Yeah, I agree.
But you're still picking Adesanya.
Yeah, I'm picking Adesanya.
Okay. Okay, I'll pick Whittaker then, just for shits and giggles.
All right.
But I do think it's an incredibly close one. But
I don't think he's unbeatable. I think... I don't know if like the UFC or this is kind of done like when a fighter becomes a champion, then they get put into this line like they're just this unbeatable god, and then there's always the one guy that comes in and upsets everything, and it's always like, oh, it's unbelievable, but it's like, was it really unbelievable, or did you play up that guy way too much? Like if he was invincible, like come on.
The guy I'm watching in the middleweight division is Andre Muniz. He's ranked down at number 13 at the moment, but I think he's the one that I'm most interested in to throw he's the cat to throw amongst the pigeons, as it were. Because I think his ground game is game changing, and if I look at the rest of the guys in the middleweight division, now we've lost Jacare. He's not that legit jiu-jitsu threat. Andre Muniz, he'll be the champion one day, I think. I think he's going to sub everybody on the way up. Arm bars for days. But in this one, I think Robert Whittaker's going to do it. I think he might catch him submission and line up the trilogy, and then Adesanya will take it back.
Andre Muniz is that guy that got that weird armbar that looked like it wasn't really an armbar, and then he did it again, so it wasn't an accident.
There you go.
Yes.
Snap Jacare's arm, and then...
That was your pick for submission of the year, but they said they couldn't.
They said they couldn't show the broken arm on TV, so I had to.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He's fighting April 16th.
Is he really? Yeah.
Yeah, against Uriah Hall.
Oh, that's a good fight. That's a good
hard fight for Uriah.
It's a hard fight for both of them because if Muniz can't close him down, then Uriah will pick him off. Yeah. But if he gets hands on Uriah, then he's going to start snapping limbs. Okay.
All right, we end it there.
We'll wrap it there, shall we? You're picking Adesanya, I'll pick Whittaker. I am buzzing for this one, though. Make sure you check out the War Rooms for the main and co-main event. Make sure you check out the Breakdown Show. If you are outside of the UK and you can't watch the Breakdown Show anymore, because damn the man, get yourself NordVPN, nordvpn.com/outlawed, and that will give you 70% off your VPN for 2 years, 2 years and a month for $89. So get on that, check out the Breakdown Show using NordVPN and Xbrain, xbrain.co.uk, and use the code OUTLAW, and that will give you 10% off all of your On-It supplements and your Neuroptomax and your brain fuel type supplements, and there's loads of good stuff on there. In fact, that porridge that you made earlier with the vanilla hemp protein, hemp protein, oats, dates,
and banana.
Honestly, it's absolute gold. Hemp vanilla protein, it is really good.
Yeah, I like that one.
Xbrain's own brand, it is delicious. And we've just started using the collagen again, which gets rid of all those aches and good stuff. Catch you next time. Enjoy the fights.